Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya
Jai
Madhava Kunya Bihari Kapidana Vallabha Kivaradam
Gopijana Vallabha Giridhara
Yashodanandana Bhajajanaram Yashodanandana Bhajajanaram
Jana
Natira Vanacha Yamanatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
This morning we will speak on the verse 23 of the 8th canto, of the 8th chapter of the first canto, prayers by Queen Kunti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudiyayat Nastavesya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavata Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavata Naistiki Yata Rishikesha Kalena Devaki Kamsena Rudati Chiram Sutahpita Vimochitam Sahatmaja Vibhom Tashevanate Namo Vipat Ganat. Word for word translation. Yata, as it were, Rishikesha, the master of the senses, Kalena, by the envious, Devaki, the mother of Sri Krishna, Kamsena, by King Kamsa, Buddha, imprisoned, Atichiyam, for a long time, Chucha Arpita, distressed, Vimochita, released, Ahamsa, also myself, Saha Atmaja, along with my children, Vibho, O great one, Vaya Eva, by your lordship, Natena, as the protector, Mohu, constantly, Vipatkanat, from a series of dangers. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. O Rishikesh, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. Now the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Devaki, the mother of Krishna and sister of King Kamsa, was put into prison along with her husband Vasudeva, because the envious king was afraid of being killed by Devaki's eighth son, Krishna. He killed all the sons of Devaki who were born before Krishna. But Krishna escaped the danger of child slaughter because he was transferred into the house of Nanda Maharaj, Lord Krishna's foster father. Kunti Devi, along with her children, was also saved from a series of dangers. But Kunti Devi was shown far more favor because Lord Krishna did not save the other children of Devaki, whereas he saved the children of Kunti Devi. This was done because Devaki's husband, Vasudev, was living, whereas Kunti Devi was a widow, and there was none to help her except Krishna. The conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in great dangers. Sometimes he puts his pure devotees in such dangers, because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. The more attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. I read the verse once again. Yata Rishikesh Kalena Devaki Kamsen Hoda Tichiram Sutarpita Vimochitam Sasahatmaja Vibho Tvayev Anate Namo Vipatkanat. Rishikesh, Master of the Senses and Lord of Lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious King Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. Om Ahyanati Manasya Jananjana Sanakam Saksuan Militam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Nama Chitchetanya Manovistam Staptam Yena Bhutaleshvam Rabkadam Yam Dadati Svam Palantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Pad Kamalam Shigum Vaishnavam Sa Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagalita Shivshakam Vitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhami Sutta Devi Pranamama Haripriya Vancha Kalptu Vishake Pasan Visha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasad Gaura Bhaktavina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gaurapani Pacharani. Nirvase Srinyavadi Paskatai Dasatai. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So these are the outstanding prayers of Queen Kunti. So Queen Kunti is a very exalted devotee. She is very exalted. She's situated in pure love of Krishna. So we, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that Devaki appeared to lose many children. The first 6 were killed, and the 7th seemed to be a miscarriage. But the 7th was different than the first 6. The 7th was Balaram, who was transferred to the womb of Rohini. But the first 6 children were lost. That losing 6 children is very severe. It is severe even to lose one child. Extremely devastating. Kamsa killed all 6 right in front of them. But yes, Devaki was there, and she had her husband. But Kunti lost her husband. She was a single mother raising children, and Krishna saved her children. That in Nectar of Devotion, you have all the 64 qualities of Krishna are described. That and one of the qualities is that Krishna is reliable or truthful. I just read that section. A person whose word of honor is never broken is called truthful. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nami Bhaktya Pranashati. My devotee will never perish. It's one of his promises. So Krishna once promised Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, that he would bring her 5 sons back from the battlefield of Kurukshetra. After the battle was finished, when all the Pandavas had come home, Krishna praised Krishna because his promise was so nicely fulfilled. She said, even the sunshine may one day become cool, and the moonshine one day become hot, but still your promise will not fail. Similarly, when Krishna, along with Bhima and Arjuna, went to challenge Jarasandha, he plainly told Jarasandha that he was the eternal Krishna, present along with the 2 Pandavas. The story is that both Krishna and the Pandavas, in this case Bhima and Arjuna, were Kshatriyas. Jarasandha was also a Kshatriya and was very charitable towards the Brahmins. Thus Krishna, who had planned to fight with Jarasandha, went to him with Bhima and Arjuna in the dress of Brahmins. Jarasandha, being very charitable toward the Brahmins, asked them what they wanted, and they expressed their desire to fight with him. Then Krishna, dressed as a Brahmin, declared himself to be the same Krishna who was the eternal enemy. Anyway, that's truthful, but the first section is about Krishna is reliable. When he makes a promise, he does not break his promise. So Krishna, he promised to save Krishna's sons during this battle of Kurukshetra. After the battle, she thanked Krishna. Your word, the word of your devotee, your word to your devotee will never change, he said. But, of course, means Kunti is a single mother. She gets much more mercy than Devaki. I would say this is not an arrangement not to get married. You may think when I marry, I lose Krishna's mercy. But Krishna deals with each devotee individual, very personal. Everyone has a different IQ, different personality. Krishna is highly personal with each devotee. So Krishna endows more mercy, is more merciful to a devotee who is in danger. So we should not put us deliberately in a dangerous position. We will see in the next verses, Krishna, Queen Kunti will pray to Krishna, oh, please let these calamities come again and again, because then I'm very Krishna conscious and then I'm blissful. But that does not mean we have to put ourselves deliberately in a dangerous condition or pray for calamities. Anyway, in Kali Yuga, you don't have to pray for it. They will come on their own accord. That's certainly the advantage of this age in this regard. But what does it mean really? It means that we must come out of our comfort zone. That we have seen many devotees in the past. They went out for distributing books, especially in the 70s, 80s. Many were locked up in jail for the sin of so-called error or fault of distributing Prabhupada's books. But the point is, we should make an effort. We should make some effort. Not because anyway, you remain in the comfort zone. We can inform you that Maya does not respect the comfort zone. That's everything may go good, but then a relative dies or something happens unexpected. So Maya, without exception, will throw everyone out of the comfort zone. What will help us is if we really try to surrender to Krishna and try to get this mercy. In the 12th chapter of the Gita, we have a whole list of qualities that make one dear to Krishna. So how can we attract Krishna to receive his mercy? By developing these qualities. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he always said, don't try to see Krishna. Act in such a way that Krishna sees you. So it means we should do some preaching activities. We should make some real effort and that will attract Krishna's mercy. And so this is an important aspect we learn here from these prayers of Queen Kunti. That in the next verses she will say, you saved us from so many things. That when Queen Kunti with her sons was in exile for so many years, they had to face so many dangers that but Krishna always protected them because they were virtuous. They were dedicated to Krishna. And we see that when I always remember, because this will be the next chapter in this first canto, that the passing away of Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev, he was lying on a bed of arrows. His body was full of arrows. That all the blood was practically out of his body, and he was not dying because he got a benediction that he would die only when he wanted. That, but then after the Battle of Kurukshetra, Bhishmadev was lying there, and all the Pandavas weren't nicely dressed as in a royal outfit, went to see Bhishmadev. Because Yudhishthira had a doubt that Yudhishthira always considers everything very deep. And that's the difference between a devotee that is explained in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And a devotee knows what to do and what not to do on the basis of the scripture. That, but the demoniac, they are just acting whimsically, not following any authority of the scriptures. That so Krishna gives so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So the Pandavas were very, very virtuous because they were very truthful, that very charitable, all the good qualities of a Kshatriya and kings. A devotee always considers things very deeply. I'm going to do something, and what is the result of my actions? That will it be good? Will it be beneficial for others or not? We see that also in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, that Arjuna is considering things very deeply. And he comes up with 5 doubts why he doesn't want to fight. He says, yeah, I will not get happiness from this if I kill my relatives. That I will just get the opposite. And killing my relatives according to Dharma Shastra is condemned, sinful. So I will get great reactions. And when we kill all these Kshatriyas, there will be so many widows. And the women will not be protected. So he's thinking very deeply. Although his thinking was based on the scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita by Yoga Maya, he forgot that the greatest authority, Krishna, was with him, which is the source of all the Vedas. That and the purpose is the Vedas is actually to know Krishna and to please Krishna. But he was considering things very, very deeply. And also, Maharaj Yudhishthira, after the Battle of Kurukshetra, was thinking, millions of Kshatriyas have been killed. It was the greatest battle in history. And he was thinking, this was just done to bring me on the throne. I will suffer for this. I will suffer for this. Unlimited lifetimes. That's what he was thinking. And even Krishna could not convince him. But then Krishna made arrangements that he would meet Bhishmadev. And Bhishmadev instructs Yudhishthira. It is set during 50 days. He's lying there, Bhishmadev. He's dying. Is that the moment to instruct others? But Krishna gave him the power to do it. And one of the instructions, there are so many instructions, they are also mentioned in the Mahabharata. Very nice instructions how to govern and rule the kingdom. That, of course, Bhishmadev said, yes, okay, you are thinking that that the whole ball of Kurukshetra was arranged to put you on the throne and that you will suffer. But he said, everything is a plan of Krishna. It was Krishna's plan to bring Yudhishthira Maharaj on the throne. Krishna wanted a Mahabhagavat, a pure devotee, to rule the kingdom, thus not cheap, and high qualities. But one instruction Bhishma Dev gave, I found very important, also for us in our lives. Bhishma Dev said to Yudhishthira Maharaj, thus, if you always follows the religious codes and follow the instructions of the Brahmins, then by following these religious principles, you will always be protected by these religious principles. So that I found interesting. So if we follow always strictly what Prabhupada wants, then by that following, that is our protection. That's Krishna's mercy. That if we want Krishna's protection by following Prabhupada's instructions, then we will be protected. And the fourth principle instructions of Prabhupada that we need to follow as a minimum is we chant our rounds every day, we follow the regulative principles, we do service for Krishna every day, and read the Bhagavatam or discuss the Bhagavatam every day. If we do these four things, we will be protected by Krishna, whatever happens. That this protection may come in various ways. Krishna speaks about the protection that he gives in 9:22, that Ananya Sintyantamam Yechana Paryapashate Desham Nitya Vyuktanam Yogakshema Ahamyam. I protect all what my devotee has, and I give him everything he needs. So Krishna speaks here about the valuable things, mainly. The spiritual side. He protects our Krishna consciousness that we already have developed. And he gives us more and more opportunities to progress further in devotional service. So that is Krishna's mercy, because that's our real wealth. We come in this world, we get this body, gross body, and then we have to leave. We have to leave everything. So everything we realize on the plot or experience of the bodily platform and all the thoughts of I and mine and relatives and friends, it's all gone. Time of death. The only thing we have really is our consciousness. And if our consciousness is submerged in our relationship with Krishna, if we are connected with Krishna and Krishna consciousness, then yes, then we are always protected. We live in a relationship with Krishna. That's the great ecstasy and pleasure the spirit soul can experience. But we need to be always connected. Be always connected, and you are protected. Because Maya is there. that Maya is there, and we have to be very strong in our Krishna consciousness to withstand all these allurements of Maya. That every moment Maya can attack us. We are safe if we do these 4 things every day. We are safe if we practice these, especially in a spiritual place, in a holy dham, in the temple, in association of devotees. Then we are protected. If you are alone somewhere, Maya is very strong. Krishna says, Mama Maya Daraja, my Maya is very difficult to overcome. So don't think we can fight with Maya. You cannot. But Maya Mitam Tarantite, Krishna says, but one can overcome it, this Maya, by surrendering unto me. So we cannot fight with Maya, but if we are Krishna conscious, we are out of the influence sphere of Maya. That is what happens. We are out of our influence sphere. So these are important lessons we learn here from Queen Kunti. That Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada explains that we should 24 hours a day be connected with Krishna. This Krishna conscious movement, he said, is meant to train us in manmana, always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day. And that is a challenge. To always think of Krishna, we must be on the Brahma Buddha platform, the spiritual platform. Brahma Buddha Prashanatma na shoshati na kankshati. The spiritual platform starts with when we don't lament or don't hanker. If you lament, the mind is going to the past. This person did this to me, and so on. But, a few days ago, here in Canada, a devotee in Halifax was driving me to the airport. He was thinking, when I'm chanting, I'm not thinking of Krishna, but I'm always thinking of this person who wants to hurt me and wants to destroy me. That someone who was seemingly his enemy. So that drags you to the past. You cannot be in the present. Or we become passionate while chanting. I have still so many things to do. I have to solve that problem. And you'd start to think on how to solve your problem and not on the chanting. So we are in the future with your mind, your attention. Your attention is not at the present. To chant, you must be in the present, and then you can connect with Krishna. Because Krishna consciousness starts with first giving attention to Krishna, and then giving your love to Krishna. But first, one must give attention. And one can only give attention when one is in the present. So, therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 obstacles to advance in Krishna consciousness. These obstacles is called in Sanskrit paripantina. 334, I think, Bhagavad Gita. Paripantina. And they are raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion. Attachment, planning for enjoyment, attachment to enjoying, and aversion, that's going to the past. So many bad experiences we remember in our life. But they are all not serious, attachment and aversion. But, I told it many times that, like, when this body is 64 years old now, and if I'm going back, let's say 50 years, 45 years, I was a young boy. I'd also so many problems, so many friends and enemies, so many frustrations, so many desires, which were childish. But all these problems that I got there at that time, where are they now? These persons with whom I had the problems are not there anymore. It's all gone. Gone. So I take it very serious. It's all temporary, it's all gone. So, but when we hear the Bhagavatam, we hear about the fertility of the material world. Yeah. You hear the story of Puranjan in the Bhagavatam, others, the life of Ajamil, that so many troubles, that, but nothing serious. All these relationships, even with devotees, it's all temporary. That in the next lives, we will have other forms. Our memory is gone. But even in this life, the memory may be gone. But then all these relationships are futile. I remember a few months before my mother passed away, she had Alzheimer's disease. And her long-term memory was completely gone. I was calling her at the phone, and my sister gave her the phone. Said, I spoke to her. My mother gave the phone back to my sister. I don't know who he is. There your relationship goes. It's all gone. That we need to understand deeply that to our duty in Krishna consciousness, we will be protected. Protected means our consciousness will be protected. And that's our future. Yam yam vapi svam bhavam tayant ante vikalevam tam tamavit kantya satat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of consciousness one has at the time of death, that you will attain again. If we are Krishna conscious, next life we will be Krishna conscious. We will have a spiritual body, that an eternal life, out of this prison of the material world. Factual, that is factual freedom. That break out with your consciousness out of this prison of attachment and aversion. That therefore, Devaki and Vasudeva. Interesting is that one child was killed after another, but one can say, why don't I have children? You know they will be killed. But they were attached to Krishna. The quicker to go to it, the quicker Krishna would come and save them. Because they were attached to Krishna, they were able to tolerate everything. It's this power of toleration is given to Krishna if we surrender to him. We can tolerate things that ordinary people cannot tolerate. So these are the teachings of Queen Kunti. So any comments or questions, please?
Any question? Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for nice class. Maharaj, earlier in the class you mentioned about calamities, and that will help us to remember Krishna. And Kali Yuga is full of calamities, you mentioned. Maharaj, many times it happens when we are in calamities, we get very frustrated, and then we are not thinking about Krishna. Either we are running away from trying to run away from that calamities, means divert our attention to something else. Even if it is temporary, we feel, oh, okay, I forget about that problem, then I feel good. Or we try to curse people around or Krishna, saying, oh, because of you I am in calamity. So how to come out of that, and how to understand what is the right way to approach it?
Yeah, it's a question of taking shelter. Where do we take shelter? Do we take shelter of our minds, and our attachment and aversions, and go on our own strength? Or do we pray to Krishna? What's the prayer? We should pray when we are going through these calamities. Lord Brahma gives us the example in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, of the 10th canto. Tatena kampam susamikshamo bunjatmai vatma vipakam vitvakva vubirvidadama namaste shivetyo mukti pade sadayavak. Oh Krishna, you are so merciful. I'm suffering, but I would suffer. I would have to suffer much more, but you give me only a token of that suffering. And the verse is, if one prays like this, one is ready for liberation. So the question is to take shelter of Krishna. That many times we are engaged in service for Krishna, and we suffer. But that suffering, Krishna sees as a sign of love towards him. That what's the right attitude? That when I was in Vrindavan, I followed the Bhaktivedanta course, Bhakti-Vaibhav course with Bhujan Prabhu. And one of the students was Parvati. Parvati was one of the first, it's a very senior Prabhupada disciple. And she joined, she was in Juhu, at the beginning of the 70s, 74 or something. And she was there on the land where devotees had constructed a hut. In the hut, they were worshipping Shishirada Rasa Bihari. But Mr. Nair had other plans and had paid some criminals to drag the devotees from the land by force. And she was doing the puja for Shishirada Bihari as pujari. She was doing the puja. At that time, she dragged her outside by her hair. Pujan Prabhu asked her if you could restart, would you do it again? And her answer was yes, with pleasure, I would do the same thing again. And that's a token of love, going to all these difficulties for Prabhupada, that in Krishna. But we are so absorbed in these problems and this frustration because of our egoistic mentality. Then we should understand I'm suffering because of my attachment. And I'm not an advanced devotee. I need Krishna's mercy and take shelter of Krishna and become serious. That requires humility, introspection. And if we take shelter of Krishna, we will be able to bear everything and we will become Krishna conscious. And that's what Rinkuti is teaching us, that all these calamities in this world are for the body. And this fault-finding mentality that the fault lies by someone else, not in me, is wrong. The fault lies in me, that's the reality. Because you get your karmic reactions. So that requires purification of the heart to overcome all this. And it happens overnight, but if we continue hearing and see the examples of these great devotees, we understand that we should not see things, I'm going to become Krishna conscious, and my life will be a life of rose and Sharanamrita every moment. No. One must come out of one's comfort zone. You don't come out of your comfort zone. You stay where you are. Krishna wants some endeavor from our side. And therefore, we have to be austere and follow the process nicely. And these calamities may come or not come. We should not care for that. But we can hear from that, from great devotees. Arjuna has to fight to kill his relatives. That's quite heavy. So Krishna gives us the example of how a devotee is determined to go to all qualities, to all calamities which may come together with the service we do. But still we tolerate and remain steady in our determination. And we can only remain steady in our determination if we are studying, following the scriptures, that in following, in performing our sadhana, that we are protected by this sadhana. Like, I remember Srila Prabhupada said for Grihasthas that, in the ashram is an ashram, and in the morning they should have a morning program every morning and chant together in the family. And in the evening also, there should be some spiritual activity and reading and hearing together with the family, children, wife. That if one does not do that, then Prabhupada said that there will be quarrel in the family and difficulties and maybe divorce. But if one does that every morning and evening, that then just a life can be peaceful. And that's also a challenge. That we have to come out of our comfort zone and try to do our best. Of course, things should not go out of balance. So, because sometimes we hear one principle, I have to come out of my comfort zone, but at the other side, you have also your balance in your sadhana, which you have to maintain, and your health and so on. And that requires intelligence also. And sometimes you will fail in it, but we learn from the failure. It's a process, factory. And it requires determination. And that we have here from Queen Kunti. She had not an easy life. So many political things against her, that she remained having this faith in Krishna, and Krishna always protected them because they were helpless. So that this is an aspect, helplessness, feeling helpless. And then Krishna gives his mercy. In that if we are not in that helpless condition, we think we are going to do things on our own, then we are rascals. And that is what we learn in this, from these past times. Each of us has to learn that. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you for the elaborate answer. Thank you.
Then I have to give another class here, the next class. But I'll see you all of you next Wednesday for Chaturdasi. I'll be in Ottawa. Because
Yes.
Friday I'm leaving for Toronto the weekend, and then Ottawa, and then 1 week in Ottawa, and then going back to Belgium. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Thank
Prabhupada.
you.
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Prabha Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki